Believe it or not, mowed this yesterday. Had my buddy mow it and got a half an inch of rain on it today. The rain finally moved away. We're gonna have a couple hours of some breeze and sunshine here before it gets dark. This is what it looks like. It's not bad hay, but it is sopping wet. And so I'd like to get it spread out here tonight so that it can at least some of this rain moisture can get washed off. 6:45, took me an hour and 45 minutes to get all this tedded out. It's 14 acres cut up into like 5 different fields. The hay honestly isn't that bad. Still soaking wet because yeah, got a lot of rain on it, but it's spread out. We got some good sunshine, relatively clear skies, and there's a good 10-15 mile an hour breeze blowing right now. So I'm hoping by the end of the night here and overnight, this moisture, most of the rain moisture will kind of get dried up. So we'll see. We'll be out here tomorrow, probably mid-morning, ted it out again. Finished up tedding the second time around. It's getting there. It's drying down, but there's still there's still stuff that's got to dry, but you can tell by just the sound of the hay, it is drying. It's 12 o'clock right now, and we've got perfect hay conditions today. A nice good breeze, 10 to 20 mile an hour breeze with some gusts, and then a nice hot sun. Relatively low humidity. It's probably like 30%, somewhere in that range. I might come back and ted out this stuff again, or at least hit some of the thick spots around 4 or 5 o'clock. The majority of this farm is like just this mixed grass. Got orchard grass, fescue, some timothy in it, and then there's a field that we seeded last year, did terrible, and made the worst hay I've ever made in my life. It almost burnt my barn down. But this year it looks amazing, and it's pretty much orchard grass with a little bit of fescue blended in there, but it's the nicest hay. So that's the stuff that I might ted that whole field out tonight again, and then we're gonna ted everything out again tomorrow because I'd really like to get this stuff dry. It's pretty decent hay, and I really don't want wet hay. Well, that's tedded out for the third time. I know there will be people that are like appalled by how much I'm tedding this hay. And yeah, for good reason. I don't like to ted hay more than I have to either, but we just don't have the time frame to ted it once and let it sit. And since it got a half inch of rain on it after it was cut, there was just so much actual rain moisture on the hay that all had to dry off really before the hay started curing down. But after tedding it 3 times, we've got all that rain moisture off, and the hay is curing down. It's got quite a nice crisp to it, and it's curing evenly through. So when this stuff gets baled, it should actually look really nice in a bale. I'm gonna fluff it up one more time, and hopefully in a couple hours this stuff's ready to go. So my agronomist, shout out Cochranville Ag, has a tractor and a rake that is much more efficient and better than me bringing my AGCO and the little coon over here. So he's gonna rake some hay for me with this machine right here. We did use this last year, so you've probably seen it before a couple times. It's nothing new. I would love to have a rake like this, someday though. Anyway, this machine's gonna work through this hay a lot faster. It's gonna let it lay and dry longer, and then come in here and we can rake it up very quickly. Big baler is scheduled to come around 4. So we're probably gonna start raking around 3. It's 10 o'clock now. We're gonna get this stuff tedded out, but we do have a problem. They are putting oil and chips on the road out there. And I tell you what, if there's anybody watching that works for road crews, you know, I want to shout you out because you do a frustrating job because you have to deal with a lot of stupid people. But for whatever reason, this crew out here does not know how to direct traffic. I came out of a side road and pulled onto this main road, and there was no traffic direction whatsoever. And I pull out and they have rollers and all sorts of equipment back and forth right here, and I'm just sitting there and I'm like, where do I even go? Am I even allowed to pull out? So I pulled out, and then the dude was like, wait, you can't come out here. And I was like, well, nobody's over here telling me what to do. So yeah, it was a mess. Anyway, we got in here. Hopefully we're there done and out of there by the time we got to bale hay and haul hay. Otherwise it's going to be a fiasco later. I just did a twist test on the hay and it's twisting. So we're gonna get rocking here. My buddy will be here in a few hours. He will take over raking, but if it's dry, I'm gonna get it up in a windrow and ready for the baler. I'm pretty pleased with how this hay is looking. It looks pretty nice in a windrow. I mean, the camera doesn't do it justice, but it's green. It's actually green. Last year when we made this first cutting, we had it pretty much dry like this, and then it got a shower on it and pretty much bleached it all out. So I'm happy that we actually have 14 acres of nice horse hay over here instead of rained on hay or foxtail hay that's almost catches on fire. And that's not a bad looking bale for meadowgrass. Feels pretty dry. Ask the baler guy what the moisture is. Should have brought my hand probe. That would have been smart. Talked to the baler guy and it's running 9 to 15. Most of it's hanging around 9 to 10 and the high spots are 15. So that's awesome. That's really nice to know. For all I care, that is horse hay. It looks good. It's green. It's dry. Relatively clean. Good hay in my books, and I'm happy. So as long as we can get this stuff loaded up and hauled home before the rain, that'll be great. So here's a quick test you can do to check if your hay is dry. Take a clump, about like that, and give it a twist. That's what you want it to do. In a couple twists, you want it to just twist apart like that. What that tells you is whether or not there are still like some waxy stems in there that haven't cured out yet. Sometimes all this leafy stuff will break, but there'll be like one stem like this that won't because it's not cured. This one, very touch of wax, just a touch, but that'll cure. Rain clouds are starting to show up. Better get this last load home. We got 48 bales hauled home already. There was 58 bales total, so there's 10 left in the field. And I'm gonna load them up on the trailer and back it into the barn and deal with it tomorrow because honestly, I'm hungry. I'm very, very hungry. The last of the bales are stacked in the barn. There are 58 here total. So we filled up just about just about as far as we could come out. We could have come out probably one more. Yeah, kind of got a nice slight lean to it, but it'll be all right. It'll buff. It's actually all really nice grass hay. This line back and that bale are the really nice stuff from the new seeding field. If you look at it up close, you can tell it's a lot more orchard grass in here. And then these bales are just the regular meadow grass that was there. Still really nice hay, but not as nice as the other stuff. However, it's all horse hay and it's dry and it's green. So it is far better than anything we made off the farm last year down there. Last year's first cutting got rained on when it was dry, and then we tedded it out, got it dry again, baled it, but it was bleached out. And we made 40 bales of that, and a couple of them were steer bales. So I think I only sold 38 or something. And then second cutting, we had junk hay and rained on hay, and yeah, just a lot of cow hay. So to have just about 60 bales of actually good horse quality first cutting, it's a good feeling. And I'm glad that we're done, because first cutting is now done. Like I was saying last night, we're done. No more first cutting. It's over till next year. In other news, we got some new paint that showed up. So this is a 2013 New Holland 7330 in honestly mint condition. Got this up in Hamburg, PA, from the fine fellas up there at Stitzel Farm Equipment. So I will actually link them down below. It is not a paid sponsorship or anything. They have no idea that I have a YouTube channel, but I just wanted to shout them out because I got a really nice piece of equipment for a really good deal, and they're really fine guys up there. So go check them out if you're interested in any equipment. But this thing was a one owner shed kept machine for a 2013 model. There's not a whole lot of wear on here. So a little bit of wear on the sides to be expected, but you still got a ton of paint on the flail. The sheet metal is clean and straight. They polished it up to make it shine again, which is nice. And then when we come and look under here at the cutter bar, it's honestly in great shape too. It's tight. He ran it for me, and there's still paint on turtles and skid shoes. And yeah, it's a nice machine. This is a 10-foot cut, or 10'4", or whatever they say it is. So it's a foot wider than our 3309 up there. That is going to allow us to mow a little bit faster, cover a little bit more acres, but we're not overdoing it by getting like a 13-foot. We thought about going that route, but we just weren't sure horsepower wise and tractor weight wise if the 966 was going to be able to handle it efficiently on our ground. Some of the fields, yeah, it would work perfectly fine. Later cuttings, it would work perfectly fine, but heavy first crop, we were just like, do we really want to go that route now, or should we just go this route and have plenty of horsepower, plenty of tractor to still pull it? It'll still fit in a lot of our tight gates or tight fields, tight driveways. It's not overbearing. It's not super wide on the roadway. So that's what we're going to do. So again, if anybody is interested in a 3309, we are definitely selling this. No, we're not going to keep this as a backup. We don't need 2 mowers. We can't justify having 2 mowers. If I was running double the acres, sure, I'd keep it and hook it up to the AGCO, but we're not. If our mower does break down, we will just do what we did this year and custom hire it out. For the cost of what we can hire a custom guy to come in and mow it, it's honestly, it is a little bit more expensive than what we could do it for. However, they can come in here and knock it out super fast and saves me a huge amount of time. So the time savings and that, we can kind of justify just hiring someone out to do mowing if the mower breaks. So for those of you that are thinking or saying that I should keep it as a backup, I'm not going to do that. Again, can't really justify it. And it'd be nice to sell that and put a lump sum of money down on that mower over there. With that being said, guys, we're gonna wrap up this video. First cutting is done. We're gonna sell some old second cutting here. We got a new mower. We're gonna cut some alfalfa there probably this weekend. Stay tuned for that. We will see you guys in the next video.